Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome to Sound Session 7 with me and...
Me.
Yay.
I'm Valerie Bhat.
How's everybody doing?
Introduce me.
Yeah. Well, some don't know you. Some don't know you.
That's true. That's true.
You know. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody in the chat. Do we have a script for tonight? No, we don't. We've got a rough idea, haven't we?
We didn't even make a list.
I know.
No, we're just...
Are you okay with that?
The seat of our pants. No, not really. I'm kind of... But it's okay, because tonight, Mr. Smith's in charge of all the technology. And so...
Great.
I'm in charge of drinking this coffee. And, yeah, I'm excited.
We're all doomed. We're all doomed. And if I'm pushing the buttons, we're doomed.
We're pushing all the buttons.
There are so many buttons to press.
There are so many people here already. This is awesome.
Yeah, look at this.
Robert Redmond was in here earlier, and Javel and Pole Vault, Dan Anderson, Happy Yum, Live to Fly, Synthworks, Ali Patches, Justine, all got here before we started.
Wow.
So we got Chris Lane, Brenda, Freedom Redbird, Deb Doucette, Andy, and Edward Richard, Rainfield. We're blowing it up unscripted, according to Rainfield. I love that. So yeah, a ton of people here already, and a ton of lurkers. This is awesome.
Excellent. Well, yeah, unscripted. We kind of know what we're talking about, don't we?
We did discuss this. So
yeah.
We did that. We're not, yeah.
Yeah,
we have a concept of a plan. Before.
It's like a sketch. You had a sketch.
It's a sketch, yeah. So what do you remember how the sketch began? What's step one?
No, I scrumpled it up and threw it in the bin.
Maybe.
I threw it in the bin by accident.
I thought maybe we were starting with some music.
We were, yeah, we were. All right. So, we were going to start with one of my videos, weren't we?
Good idea.
Yeah, well, we're not doing that.
Okay. Well,
I've decided that I annoy me.
Oh, no.
I'm only joking. No, I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to... So we're talking about how I've produced a track tonight, yeah? For anybody who doesn't quite know what's going on. So, a while back, Valerie wrote a song called Silence, and I ended up producing the track. And tonight's stream is about how, I've been a bit exacting about the sound and how I EQ'd this and if I use compression on that or whatever. But the video that I want to play is from a live stream that somebody did it. It's Steve Tagoose, and it's a track he played on one of his live streams called Stole My Love. And I think this goes to show that it's never about the production or the EQs or what software you use or anything to do with like that. For me, it's about the spirit in which something's offered, and this is one of those perfect examples of this. So this is Steve Tagoose and Stole My Love.
fell right in my arms. Our destiny would never keep us apart. She said to me she'd never go away. I promised her forever I would stay. I heard her name, she said she had to go. The world closed in, broke our hearts. Now she's gone, I miss her so. Sold her time, broke her mind, brought me down. Gonna fight to get you back. So my love, broken heart, lost my soul. Gonna fight to get you back. Gonna fight to get you back. Gonna fight to get you back.
There you go. Oh, interesting feedback. There you go. Oops. Okay, professionally. There you go. That's Steve Tagoose and Stole My Love. You see how many
That was
buttons
beautiful.
I had to press? Did you see that?
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
This is why you have to do it, because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's
But
too much.
I love Steve Turgoose so much. His voice is so beautiful, and he writes such good songs. His guitar works so nice.
Yeah,
Big fan.
yeah, he's cool. And I'm not sure how many of his songs over time have actually been fully recorded.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, because I don't, it's difficult. You know yourself, don't you? You're a singer-songwriter. And how do you get a band that can produce your stuff like you want? Even getting the band in the first place, just getting a bad band is difficult.
Yeah, I've had this experience. It is hard to find people who are on, just on your, have the same rhythm, have the same kind of musical drive that you have, that you don't want. Somebody's very country and somebody's very 70s something. It just doesn't mesh, and you don't, they can both be good. It just won't fit.
Yeah.
So just to find pieces that fit is hard.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So with Steve, I'm not sure how many tracks are recorded fully or not. I know some of his material's on his channel for anybody who wants to know. And I've put Steve's channel link in the description below.
Oh,
and if one of the mods wants to copy and paste it, that would be brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So he streams on Thursdays at...
Thursdays at 8 UK,
at
so
8.
that would be...
So 1 p.m., that's my time. 3
p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern. I think I got all the times wrong on my post that I put up.
Well, I copied it at first. Listen, I stole all of your hard work.
Well, I stole it from Gary. But then I was like, these specific times, they're weird to me. And I couldn't figure it out, so to change it to my own time.
Right.
But then I did it wrong.
Well, I had a hell of a time working it out. You put it in mountain time, and then I had to change it. Oh, no. So it took me a day to do it all.
Yeah. No, times are hard, especially when there's so much awesome stuff happening today. So this is a cool pre-Kurt Fest Friday night.
Yeah, it's a busy night, isn't it?
It is super busy, and I'm so excited for tomorrow for Kurt Fest.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be good. It's going to be something that I wish wasn't happening, but I know it's going to be good,
Right.
I know it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather Kurt be there, but yeah.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? And I know we saw Justin in the chat as well. Justin, looking forward to tomorrow. And there's a couple that I should say hello to as well. Hubsy, brother, and Feisty Feather, and Ryan Hall, and Hugh Colwell, and Anon Mouse, and Folk and Blueser, and Chris Lane, and Rascally Rabbit. So good to see you all here. It's brilliant.
Also Zach Thong.
Oh, Zach was
Missed you
there.
at
It's Zach
Song Club
Thong.
today.
Yes. You shouted him out in your stream.
I tried. I thought sometimes if you say somebody's name enough, they show up. So I tried.
Does happen, doesn't it?
It does seem to.
So about this stream that we're doing. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
And this is a Luna.
This is a Luna, everybody. This is Drumcat. Yes, I know.
Which has a lot to say.
Yeah. So, all right, we're not streaming. We'll just let everybody watch the cat for a while, because that seems to work on YouTube, doesn't it?
We might get more people if we shut up and little.
Just get a Luna to do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wave at the camera. Yeah, this is. So everybody on YouTube, this is how to get yourself subscribers on YouTube. Forget any kind of talent or skill. Just get yourself a cat and put them in front of a camera. This is what you do. You know, your channel will grow exponentially. But the one thing is, you can keep all the revenue, and you just have to give the cat some fish. That's it. It's not a bad deal, really.
Hold on, I have to moderate Andy's message, but I like it. I don't know if anybody else is going to go out there for that. Got you, Andy.
Bubba is here as well. Bubba25. It's good to see you. Why can I not see Andy's message? Where's that? Where is it?
Bonfire wants to see the cat play the drums, which I have also been asking for, Bon. I agree.
Yeah, she really does play the drums, honestly. She really does. I haven't got the camera set up to do it on this stream, I don't think.
Yeah, but eventually we will see some drum cat.
Yeah, she will be doing some solos. Yeah, well, she's just going to play particular sections from her favourite songs.
In the air tonight.
Or maybe we could put a Luna in a monkey suit like the advert, so it's a cat dressed as a monkey playing Phil Collins like the advert.
Yeah, because just a cat playing Phil Collins what's that?
Exactly.
That's nothing. We
not
need
enough.
more. We're classy over here. Got a suit on.
So we get a fairy
straight
animal
cat strut. That's
dressed as a fairy, right? Yeah. So we're going to put you in a monkey suit, okay? Is that okay? Yeah. Okay then. So about the stream that we're doing. So when was it? When did you write Silence?
It was September, Songtember. So, Pete Johns and Jade Star, they all put out things about doing Songtember. And I said, I'm going to be a team player for once in my life. I'm going to do it. And I did. Wrote a song, and I was like, this is good. And I wrote, I kind of write pretty quick. And I wrote it pretty quick. I recorded it. And I was like, that's not bad. And then I'm like, well, since it's Songtember, I have to make a video. Maybe I'll, do some stuff. So I sat down here in Logic and I added like some bass line, and I added, what did I have? Some drums, like the little percussion drums in MIDI. And so I have a tiny keyboard. I was like that. And I did it, and I was like, I sent it to you, I think, and I was like, I'm put this out. It's done. And you were like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said I might have an idea.
You were nice about it. Nice. He wasn't wrong, because so I think we've got like an example of what I sent as my, like, here's my idea, and then describe what you heard when you saw it, like when you heard it, what did you hear in it,
okay,
and what did you do?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I heard was a really good song, absolutely fabulously written.
You're too sweet.
And the demo that you sent me, it had something in it, and I think that was, obviously, I like the song to start with. The melody's just great, and I do like stuff in 6/8. It's lovely. It has a lilt.
Last song I wrote also 6/8. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a lot of 6/8 in there, isn't it?
I love it.
what you'd done, with the percussion, you used like a cajon and a little shaky thing, and it sounded like a hand slapping a box or something, or it sounded like almost like a wooden spoon on a suitcase for the kick drum or something. You know, it was really earthy, raw sound to it,
Right.
and to me, that actually brought something to the track. Yeah, so I heard it and I thought that's great. And I like the identity it's got, but I can hear more. Yeah. So it was very simple and stripped back. It was almost as if when I first heard it, I thought, oh, this is the MTV Unplugged version. Yeah. That kind of feeling from it. You know?
Right.
Very
And
bare.
it was still simple.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was that simple setup where you could hear a set of buskers playing it together. You know, people who play on the street with a cajon, a guitar, little. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's kind of my jam.
Yeah.
So, and that is how I approach recording it. I kind of thought of it as like I played the song and recorded it, and then I added some stuff to it.
Yeah.
So that's a lot different than what you did when you took it.
Yeah. It definitely grew. So I think to give people an idea of the initial demo you sent, we should play a bit of it. Yeah. And then we can go through some of the process with what I ended up doing with it. So, I know you can't see this audio view, but I've just switched over to the other thing.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, you can see it on YouTube, can't you? Right. Okay. So, this is some of the original demo that Valerie sent.
I don't know how to say how I feel. I could draw you a picture, a fish stuck in the mud, held by the current, at a fork in the river. I struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence.
Okay. So everybody will be able to hear from that. Like I said, it was almost as if it had been recorded front of house from an acoustic gig somewhere at you know, one of those little venues.
Yeah.
So really nice to me, and it added to the I want to do something with this part of it to me, because it had that really. So the lyric is very intimate, isn't it? And how you presented it like that had the same feeling. So you kind of nailed it to me, you know. However, I just had a slightly different arrangement. Now, we'll get to the full arrangement later on. But I was going to go into how I split it up. Now, the first thing I did was I intended to keep a lot of what you'd done, and I wanted that to be the basis to the production. So I didn't want to get rid of your drums, get rid of all the stuff you did, get rid of the bass, or I didn't want to do anything like that. I wanted to keep that space that you had originally. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you. I was shocked because I mean, first of all, not a drummer, and I did that on my little MIDI keyboard, and it had the cajon sound. And I know you don't like a cajon.
No, I hate.
So I was shocked that you kept so much of really You didn't, I mean, I don't know that you got rid of anything in completely. I think you used
No.
every track at least a little bit.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I took that track and I split it up into stems and sent him the individual tracks, like vocal, you know, all the vocals separately, all the guitars separately, all the bass, everything separately. And I did it both with the effects that I had put on it and then also naked. I don't know the word. Clean. It's probably clean.
Clean. Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got the stems, got percussion, a couple of tracks of percussion with effects, without effects. Was it a bass that you did, or did I do that?
I originally did a bass. I don't know. You might have added to it.
I think I don't know.
Simple.
I might have used yours. I can't actually remember from here.
I think you did.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, I mean, you definitely used it. You might have added to it, but
got you. All right.
I'm gonna call.
So you can see on the screen. So the red and black bits at the top there, they're the original drums, and then the blue's the bass, and purple's the guitars, and then underneath I've added some keys. We'll get to those, and all the white stuff is the vocals. So a lot of it was kept if you go back and you look at. So you look at this, the original percussion and bass and your guitar parts. I kept them, and I think one of the main things with this track was that, to me, it told a story. Yeah, even though it's quite an introspective lyric, isn't it? But it told a story as well, and I think the arrangement I went for would try to help tell that story a little bit, you know, while keeping that. You see, the atmosphere that you gave it with the percussion that it had as well, with it being so small in its approach and so compact, that almost gave it this little claustrophobic edge as well, you know. Maybe I overthink when I listen to music, maybe I do, but anyway, this is what I got from it, this kind of claustrophobia, yeah. And that gave me the initial idea for the use of the music box to open it up. So instead of using your guitars, let's leave those to come in later, and let's open it up with this music box as though it's just somebody sat on their own in a room, and you open that little music box, and those moments are just you and that thing. They're very singular. You don't share them with people, you know. So it's what led me to start the song with the music box. And then I added like a pad sound to it. So I took away the percussion. So the percussion's over here. Doesn't start yet. I took away all of the bass and all the guitars. And I started with this music box and a warm pad sound. So we get this. I'll mute the vocal for a second as well. So it's almost, to me, it was very filmy. Now, okay, so I had this in mind where it was a kind of filmy thing that I was doing. And I didn't have any idea that you were going to do the video that you did.
Right.
Now, that's this weird simpatico, you might call it. Yeah. I had no idea you were going to do the mime video for it. None at all. But in my head, it was like a film where you have a camera and you've got somebody sat in front of a mirror with a little bureau, and there's a little ballerina spinning around.
Right.
Yeah. Like the opening shot to a film. So this film's obviously about this person's life. That's that kind of what I went for.
Right.
Which, like I say, just turned out to be really surprising in the end, because you went for such a film style video as well. I'm just going to check something on that reverb. Right. So I've got the intro going, and we've got the keys with we've got the warm pad and the music box. And I added a bit of harmony because I heard this originally as a lot of piano. So there's some harmony that comes in with the piano after the music box. So the vocals have just started. And now we get some harmony. So at that point, I brought in the bass. And there's still no guitars yet. Because I just get some simple chords from the piano to sit the track with the vocal. So to settle everybody in. I'll play some of the vocal with this as well. So when you get the vocal is just done with the piano and a bass. Oh, I've muted the vocal. 1 second. There we go.
I struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride.
So we've got an intro, we've introduced a bit of harmony, we've dropped the bass, and we've just got some really simple chords of the piano. And we're just about to hit the start of the song. Now at this point, we go back up here. So the start of the track, this is where your original percussion line comes in. So you sent me two versions of your percussion. One was dry, one was wet. That's how we term it in terms of this. So you sent me the original stem, and then you sent me one with reverb or effects. Now, the original one that you sent it doesn't come in till later. So the original one that you sent is here. There you go, you can hear that as well. Okay, so everybody can hear that's just really simple. Now, when I actually brought the drums in on the mix, what I'd done is I'd used the ones that you sent with some effects, some reverb. So I brought these in first. But what I also did on your original one was I have widened the stereo field to start with. So that's with the stereo field widened. That's what you sent me. So you can hear I send it out to the side. And then what I also did was put a reverb in to give it some carry in the mix. And both of those together added up to. So that's the percussion sound I ended up with. Even though I've only used a couple of sections, I also added a MIDI snare drum for one particular section. Now that snare doesn't come across like you think it does in a mix. I think I had to point it out to you originally when I sent it. Yeah, go on, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't hear it originally.
Yeah. Even though when you've got the percussion on its own, it sounds particularly loud.
Mm-hmm. So
taking what you sent me, that's how I dealt with the percussion, but I've only brought it in. You can see the red parts at the top here, and then the black and red underneath it. So I've cut into it, and I've taken some bits out and left some bits in, and that was kind of how I structured it with the arrangement, and didn't add a single thing to it. Now, I'm a drummer, folks, and I love drums. And I love thinking that, yes, I'm the best drummer that's ever lived. But you know what? Sometimes, shut up, Mr. Drummer, shut up. We don't need you for this, you know? And that was the attitude I took as a sort of producer. We don't need any drums. What you've done is perfect, you know? Which for me as well was unusual. It was not something I'd normally do. I would normally go to replacing the drum track straight away. But with this, I thought I'd keep it. And it seemed to work. So if we go back to the beginning, the very beginning, now we'll play some of the vocal here. Because, so again, you sent me the vocal, and I think I said I can hear a noise or something, did I not?
You did.
Right.
Nothing gets past you. As far as
No.
leaving the heater on during,
Yeah.
I left the heater on
Yeah.
while I recorded.
Yeah. Well, and I thought, you know, what do I do? And I ended up going with it because, I don't know, again, it was just an atmosphere that worked. So if I isolate the vocal track here, this is,
I don't know how.
that's how it came to me.
How I feel.
Take the reverb
I
off.
could draw
Is this the
you a
original one or
picture.
the
Yeah.
second
A
one?
fish
Okay.
stuck in the mud.
This is the replacement
held by
one.
the current.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Had a fork in the river.
So I decided the
Struggle and
light
wriggle
in the room
and
was
fight
giving
to
was giving
survive.
noise too. So
Yes.
I did this in a
Wishes
dark,
were
dark room.
horses
Yes.
and beggars would ride.
So that's the dry vocal, but then I've
I don't know
actually
how
EQ'd
to
this
say how I feel.
just on the channel strip.
I could
So
draw you
there's a pile of
picture.
bottom end taken out of it. There's a
Fish
big
stuck
notch
in
of
the mud,
4.5K,
held
like a
by the
DS,
current.
and a bump at
Had
9K
a fork
to give
in
it
the
some
river.
brightness. And then
Struggle and wriggle
I've used
and
the
fight to
SSL
survive.
channel strip.
If
That's given
wishes
another
were
bump at the
horses,
top
then
and
beggars
another
would
cut at
ride.
3.
I
And then
should
it's
try
removed
living
a
out
notch
loud
at around
before I
250.
die in the silence.
Okay.
And then there's some compression.
Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants.
Just to even out the dynamics of it. And when you sent that, you've sent what you called a vocal double. So you double tracked it, essentially, yeah?
Right.
Yeah. Well, on the double track, it was an option, wasn't it? So does it sound good? Does it not sound good? Double tracked.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of it did, some of it not so much. And I don't mean it wasn't the right performance or anything. There was nothing wrong with what you did. It was the track being what it was lent itself more to a singular vocal for the bulk of it. It had to be singular, you know?
Right. That's tough for me to do on my own because I always feel like my voice isn't quite thick enough or, big enough by itself. And so, my ear says to add something to it. So,
Yeah.
And that's something just across the board. Like, kind of what I gave you was like, here's guitar all the way through, and here's bass all the way through, and here's drums all the way through, and here's me singing all the way through. And, you just added a lot of space and cut out a lot of stuff.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, put space in. And you can see so this vocal underneath, what we call the double track here. So this is your main vocal at the top. And the double track's underneath. And then there's a backing vocal underneath that as well that you sent. So it's a kind of harmony. Some of it's unison, some of it's harmony.
Yeah.
And I've cut into the double track, and now that's just a mono vocal. So I'll just play that for a second and just turn those off. So I've
Beggars would ride.
given it a fake pseudo stereo, and then just given it a bump on an EQ. So it supports
Shoulders of giants.
your original vocal, and it comes around the side.
I'm too scared to scream,
So,
too frightened to
play that first bit.
I struggle and wriggle and
Just your
fight to
vocal, straight down the
survive.
middle.
If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride.
Just that touch
I
with the
should
stereo.
try living out loud before I die in the silence.
And I've done that on both these sections for impact.
Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants.
And then at this point, you go back to the single vocal.
I'm too scared to scream, too frightened
So it has
to
that
cry
more
out,
intimate
too
thing.
filled with heartbreak, depression, and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence.
Now, added to that, underneath is a harmony. So I'll put that in as well.
I
And
struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence.
just alters the chord really
Come
nicely.
out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants.
So that's how I have, for everybody listening, watching, that was how I treated the vocal. So that's how I've got the vocal sound across the track. And the main vocal is straight down the middle on its own. It's got a heavier reverb than you'd probably expect, but it disappears in the mix. And then the double track vocal underneath it is giving that stereo illusion. And then the harmony just sits straight down the middle and backs up your original vocal. So I'll play it up to the first chorus. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the bass, guitars, and drums. And I'm just going to play it with the keys and the strings. Because I don't think you've ever heard this before.
I have not.
No. So I was actually going to suggest to you that we put just a piano version out of this. So check this.
I don't know how to say how I feel. I could draw you a picture. A fish stuck in the mud, held by the current, at a fork in the river. I struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants.
Some strings.
I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression, and self-doubt.
So you can hear, right, when those strings come in, yeah, if it was going to be just a piano version, those strings are too heavy. But given that this is a full version, that's what led to the next bit of impact in the track. Okay. So let's just find out. Let's just, out of curiosity, is it your bass that you sent to me? Is it? I can't remember. Let's find out. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I can't imagine you doing this bass. Yeah.
I'll give you that.
It got a little more interesting as you go on.
It does. There's a couple of bits.
You just played like the simplest part. I did play more than one note, a measure.
You did. You did. It gets more intricate later on, slightly. There are two notes at least later on. No, but the thing is, it works so well, Valerie. Honestly, it really did. And this is one of the things that I think. So we've got a door, a workstation, whatever it is that you're working in, And we've got all these opportunities to throw every single thing at it, and we can have a million tracks, and our bass line can go blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's really not what you need. And this is another one of those occasions where what you did originally just nailed like the essence of what was needed. It just needed that note. Didn't really need anything else, you know? So don't fix what isn't broke, to me, was the thing. And then obviously there's a lazy aspect where it means I don't have to record a bass line. So yeah, so there was that.
Herb said we could also do a house remix. I like that.
Yeah.
Herb's also bashed your technology is looking all Windows 98. So.
Oh yeah, I have it set up. I have it. It's what you're about. Herbs. It's an XP system. It's XP.
Windows NT.
Windows XP. It's full. It's never been on the internet. It runs 30 in, 30 out. And it's run commercial bands for the last, I don't know how long.
No, this is actually a good, what we're looking at is not, I mean, you just said this, but I don't know if people got this, because sometimes don't get this. The computer we're looking at, the screen there, it's not on the internet.
No.
We are just looking at a picture of this screen, but that computer doesn't have the internet.
Never. Never.
And
No.
Well, I mean, I think it's smart to like you kind of have a safe space beyond all the viruses and everything where you're constantly dealing with the internet, and just little things like I'll start something, update.
Correct.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I think
and as well, well, I've future-proofed it. So I have a huge flight case, and it has motherboards, RAM chips, hard drives, DVD drives, fans, everything.
Right. And it's still at a level where where you can actually replace things.
Yeah.
Tower, so it's that's that good technology.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of, so there's always been this thing in the industry. You've got to have the latest thing. Well, you know what? Fuck the latest thing. Because what always happens in the industry, 30 years later, everybody says, I wish we had that old thing back.
Oh, yeah. So what DAW are you using?
Sonar 4 Producer, which was released in probably 2002. I sometimes run 7, and I sometimes run 8. But this was done on 4 because 4 is just so smooth. It's all done. This is done at 48K 24-bit as well through some beautiful M-Audio sound cards. And essentially, I like to treat a digital workstation as an old tape machine. So it allows me to have space, and I put things in. Now, when I put things in, they go in right. I don't like to post-process a lot. Because, well, you can roll it in glitter, but it still stinks.
Glitter does not affect the smell. This is true.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Well, Sonar just became Cakewalk, Folk and Blueser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with it either.
Yeah, and the Cakewalk operating system now is exactly the same system as this is. They've just changed the layout, but it's exactly the same program. When what were they called? BandLab got hold of it and tried to mess with it, but they're still running exactly the same platform now. And to be honest, I think it would be beneficial for a lot more people to think of recording on a computer as just space, like a tape. So if you want your guitar to sound right, put a microphone in front of it, put the microphone in the right place, and record it like that. And then what do you have to do? Just bring up the fader for your mix. That's kind of it. And the best recordings in the world have been done like that over the years. So it's where I try to be. This is why you don't see racks of effects plugged in on anything. It's just as it was. There's nothing on the bass.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the
pretty clean.
guitars that you sent. There's nothing. They're just there as they were. Because production isn't necessarily about just adding loads of crap, and I think people get really carried away with that. You know, I see it a lot. And the latest thing doesn't matter. It just really doesn't matter. And MIDI's never changed since it came out, and it won't change anytime soon.
David Burke said, if you want your guitar to sound right, don't get Dave to play it.
Huh. Good to see you, Dave.
It's not true, David.
That's not true. Your guitars sound
It's not
awesome.
true at all.
When you can make it here, you know. You know, if you're not flying around the world, and you know, this just in, MIDI changed. How did it change, Herbs? They tried MIDI 2 and it was just a big fat ugly failure. Nobody gave a toss out of it. MIDI hasn't changed. It's just a command code. That's it. That's all it does. MIDI just turns things on and off, literally. And it has different names for different on-offs. But that is essentially it.
All right, next let's talk about USBs.
USB, you fucking
I'm horrible. Big hello to Pole Vault, who's up next with Pole Vault and Sunshine. I like Lewis Cook says MIDI 2 electronic boogaloo.
Oh, Lewis Cook! Wow, Lewis! Really good to have you here, buddy. Lewis does some cool streams. He's just chilling, having a smoke with people coming in and out of the chat. Plays some really good music as well. Great place to hang out. Lewis, it's been really good to see you and your crew, man. And it's really good to have you here. Thanks, bud.
We got Kristen here too.
Yay! Kristen's been great. Nice to have Kristen as part of it as well. It's great that she's in yours as well.
Oh, awesome. All right. Put it up to Lewis while we're talking. There we go.
Okay, so just for a moment then, let's give people a break from talking about this song.
You've heard us talk.
Yeah, let's play a video, should we?
What you gonna play? You surprised me with the last one. Also, I did see Steve Turgoose came in after we played his song. We played your song, Steve.
Yay! Nice one, Steve.
I didn't think he'd be here. It's like 2 a.m. for Steve, or 3.
Yeah, it's something later. Yeah, it's 2. Oh no, Steve's an hour behind me actually, so no, it's all right. It's 1 in the morning for him.
Oh, it's the other way? Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, he's not so bad, I think, isn't it?
3. He says 3.
Oh right, it's the other way. You're right.
East, yeah.
Steve, what are you doing?
I'm trying to say, I don't know if I know you're in the right country. I think you're in. Because I was like, he lives where? So I think I know now.
Wow. What are you doing still up, mate? Are you all right?
Right.
Okay?
Too late.
Too late. Well,
right,
okay.
So what you got for us?
We're just going to play a Mr. Smith track. We're talking about Mr. Smith production. Let's play a Mr. Smith track. And this is something, a collaboration that I did with Deeds. And this is called Mirage.
They never fade. They just sit there.
oceans lose their water. Take the light out of your eyes. And give me everything I've wanted. Let me burn it to the ground. Take all the songs around the world and let them never make a sound. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. Sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. I've been taken by the rage. Some scars, they never fade. They just sit there on the surface like some mirage in the haze. There you go.
Beautiful.
Yay, feedback again.
Beautiful.
Mr. Smith.
Well, we're learning. That was Mirage, My Rage, with Mr. Smith and Deedsville Music.
Yes. Deedsville. I've not seen Deedsville for a while, actually.
That one is available for download on Mr. Smith's Bandcamp. If you go to the Bandcamp link that's in the description.
It is. So, yeah, and a quick one. So, thank you to everybody who's here. Accent Nacho, Bonfire, Fish 1999, Herbs, really good to see you. You're hilarious in the chat, Herbs. I love it. Robin M as well, and Bert. Yay, Bert. Dude, good to see you, man. Yes. And Ryan Hall, good to see you as well. So thank you to everybody who's here. Everybody who has pressed the like button, please press the like button. Like, comment, subscribe. Anybody who has watched the replay, if you're watching it now, thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. Get some help. And thank you to anybody who's used the Buy Me a Coffee link as well to make a donation to the channel. It's much appreciated. All the support I get is really, really appreciated. Thank you very much. So, back to this song, guy.
Okay.
All right. All right, so we'll play people the guitars that you sent. So you sent me 2 guitars. You sent a strummy strum,
Strummy strum and picky pick.
Yes.
To be technical.
To be technical. So strummy strum first. And then you sent a picked guitar as well. Let me change this view as well. So we're in.
This is how I actually play the song.
It is. Yeah, that's how you do it on the live streams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
But I thought the strum would kind of give it, a little more stuff happening. And I did listen to you, and when I did the strum recording, I thought, let me not overstrum, because my first thing would be to be strums to strums, strums to strums, strums to strums, to strums, strums to strums, strums. So I said,
whoa,
Mr. Smith would want me to calm the fuck down. Just strum every once in a while.
Yes.
So I did think about that,
yes.
and I did strum less.
And it worked a treat as well. It was really relaxed, wasn't it? It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, as well, I cut into those guitars, and I basically just made some space as an arrangement, basically. But what you'll hear as well is, so the picked guitar is panned slightly to one side, and then the strum comes in, but they're not hard left and right. They're like 40%, you know. Yeah, they're not all the way over. Just so that
there's something else. There's some room still over here.
Exactly, yeah, and they just sit around your voice a little bit, just kind of as a so that your voice plays the central role in the whole mix as well. That was important for me, that this single voice came out through the entire thing. So there's only I think there's only the backing vocal and the bass line that sits directly with your vocal in terms of stereo image, which unusual. Again, it's unusual. So I also added a slide guitar part because so the idea of the slide guitar now in blues music, it's particularly used. It's sing a phrase, guitar plays a phrase afterwards.
That's the kind of guitar I'm good at.
Yeah, it's a common trick.
I can do that.
Yeah, well, the one thing that does, it gives what's called a linear enjoyment to somebody, so they can follow that line. So the melody line, but it swaps between the guitar and the vocal, but it keeps the melody line consistent in a sense. You see what I mean? So there's no gaps. So it's a commonly used trick to find these little counter melodies and support melodies to keep the main melody going for the listener. Well, that's essentially what I was looking at with the slide guitar. So I'll solo the bass and the intro guitar that you put on, and then the slide with the percussion as well. It's quite simple, but it's just this extension of a melody. But again, still, it's a little like a band in a venue.
Right.
There's nothing complicated.
No, it does sound like a can of beans, dry beans. One percussion.
It does.
It really stands out when it's by itself.
It does.
Crunch.
It really does.
Yeah.
But if we put now the pad that's with that and the piano sound that goes with it, then the percussion makes sense. That's not a million miles away from a Nashville thing.
The slide makes it's so sweet. The slide kind of also reminds me of the little ballerina song at the beginning. It has a similar tone to that.
Yeah, it's that same. It's almost
sweet.
It's like but like you sat with a blanket around you. Again, this kind of very sort of, I don't know, solitary thing somehow. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, the slide guitar was put on as a way to keep that melody running for the listener, basically, through the arrangement. Because if you listen to the piano part on its own, underneath that, it's not complicated by any means. So the piano part is playing like a support role. It's not bashing away on loads of keys and being fancy. Yeah, it's not trying to take over. It's just underpinning, really. That's the idea with it. because I didn't want to steal the show with the piano part. But I think because of the timbre of the piano, it lent itself to this. All of a sudden, the track sounds bigger because of it. So if I play this section now and it's just the band, so it's the guitars and the drummer, you get this. Oh, hold on. Let me mute those a second. And those. So this is just the band. But you add the piano to it, and you get this. All of a sudden, the whole thing's bigger. And it's not just a band sat in a room anymore. Right. And it's literally the addition of a piano with those extended notes. So it's kind of, you're just hitting the chord and it's moving, and there's a subtle touch, but it's not really melodic as well, because I didn't want to interfere with the melody with overplaying the piano. It was more to give the thing something like a cinematic feel. More
definitely has that.
You know?
Yeah.
And then at that point, there are some MIDI strings that come in as well.
I like that part.
And they just give it. It's like a drop, really, I suppose, but in a different way to drop in the bass, you know. And they give a swell to the whole proceedings. So I'll play it from here, and then the violins are here, the brown stuff. And this idea of it being like a film in my head, putting this together before you did the video, it was how I had it in my head. It was filmish, the whole thing.
Right.
Which blew my head when you did the video. Where did you get the inspiration for the video?
Well, I'd already thought about it before I'd sent you this. So before we had that, I was just like, oh, this really fits in well with what I was planning to do already. So. I'd just been thinking just really straight, you know, like what could this be about? And I thought pretty quickly, you know, what's something that's, you know, speaking in silence but trying to project themselves. And I was like, a mime. And I've spoken about this. I really wanted to be a mime. Like, we had a mime troupe when I was a kid, and I auditioned every year to be in the mime troupe. And I never got in the mime troupe. Oh, no. And I have a trauma.
Oh, no.
So I ordered the stripy shirt and like the stripy tights and the little beret and everything, and got the room at the Longmont Public Media. I reserved it and set up all the cameras. And so there's two different routines that Marcel Marceau does, that I took them and I made a video where I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I practiced it. And so like I tried to do these excerpts of these two different routines that he had done. And so, I wanted to be a mime. And it turned out actually better than I expected it to, I'm not going to lie. I'm not much of an actual. I was like, okay, I see why I did not get into mime troupe right now.
Oh no!
I now understand. They were maybe right, but I get to live out. I now own a mime outfit, so anytime anyone needs a mime, let me know. I will show up. I can get out of a box. I can like a tug rope. Oh my gosh.
Right.
So good at miming. So it worked together well. So you kind of did this most, like you'd sent me the little music box piece and you were like, do you hate this? And I was like, that's cool. And then you kind of did this whole thing and you set me up pretty much what it is now. At this point, I don't think we changed anything from your original take there. And then this is the part of the song where the second verse comes in, that it's a little different. And this is the only part where we had, not contention, but here's where I was just like, we took a little more to get to where it is now.
We did, and I think originally I threw a kind of banjo at it, almost, and
you did. It was a hoedown.
It was a hoedown.
Complete hoedown. And I said, I think my message was, why the hoedown? But it was just like one little banjo part, which you just took out one instrument from it, I think. And it wasn't like a total rewrite. And it just didn't need, I don't know if you put something else in, but it was fine.
No, I literally took it out and made a tiny adjustment to the piano. And you were right. So, I mean, the instrument sucked. It made it sound like a hoedown, but it didn't suit the track. And I think it was one of those. It was almost like the drummer in me was bored. And I wanted more, something that went digga 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 digga.
Right. And well, it does change up a lot. Like even now, there's a definite difference from the first chorus to the second verse.
There is.
And it's more of a break than I would ever put in, I think, as it is now even. But it was more of a disparate break before.
Yeah.
And a big hello to Leela Verse, who's going to be ending our night up tonight.
Yes.
Karen Reese, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Leila. How are you doing?
I did see one thing I need to point out, because I feel like I might have to block David Burke.
Oh yeah. Oh, not Dave Burke.
We might have to. Yeah, we might have to, because he says if you redo a percussion track and do it with a straight face, does that mean there are serious repercussions?
Oh, out. Out.
Yeah, time out. What?
Just
yeah.
Out. Just no. Out. Blocked. Gone. Gone. And orange is shit. Yeah. And Fender for the win. Yeah. Fuck Les Paul.
He doesn't believe that.
Fuck Gibson.
And Isomatic, great to see you too. Indie Burrito. Right. Well, -2 points. That'll work. And did I see Robbie, or am I just seeing lots of? Oh, yeah, I saw Robbie single too. Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Robbie.
So, so David Burke is on probation.
Yeah.
That's what we know.
Careful, mate. Just be careful. Just be careful.
I knew you wouldn't want to hear that. Like, I was sad to have to tell you that.
I don't know if I feel better for knowing, or if my life would have been better for not hearing that. Because
it might affect your it might affect your relationship from here out.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
it could do.
Hugh, in good news, Hugh liked it.
Oh well, okay. Well, Deep Burrito said, what was it? Deep Burrito said that was a carry-on level joke. I mean, that's a pretty nicely put, Deep Burrito. That is, it was hitting a low bar, wasn't it? You know.
Ooh, Herb said even I wouldn't have attempted that joke.
Scathing.
I think that was the winner. All right. Okay, so let's go back to, we finished the first verse, first chorus.
Yes.
Then it makes a change. What made you make this kind of break? Because when I played, I'm just going straight through.
You were, yeah. No, so I opened up with the strum guitar from the guitar part. And I think the reason you felt such an impact was because the second verse switches to the picked guitar.
Yes.
And it's got no piano. It's just, hold on, let me change view here so people can just see what I'm talking about. So it goes back to the percussion on its own, but only the one with the effect on it, only the one with the reverb. Then it's got the bass line and then the picked guitar. And you'll notice I even chopped out one of the slide parts because it was in the way, even though I recorded it. And it's got a tiny little pad. So we come from, I'll mute the vocal again. 1 second. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so we've come from this with the strummed guitar. And then you've got, I should try living out loud or die in the sun. And now we go strummed guitar. So there's very little going on, and it's offset. It's out of balance. But then you get, when the strum comes back in, you got the lead brings you over, and then the whole thing opens up in a stereo feeling, so it feels wider for that section, and literally. So that's a production trick. Starting the section with something so that it feels imbalanced, and then bringing back that balance with an instrument that you're going to put in. Right. And just bringing back that balance can make the next section feel like it's bigger. And it isn't any bigger. It's an illusion. Yeah. It's about... It
also fits that lyric too, because the lyric is about being kind of weak and imbalanced. And so...
It does. It does.
Hypes up that feeling.
Yeah, it's like a bit fragile, isn't it? Where it's just that little picky guitar. So yeah, I think it's what you said before as well. It's about, I basically created space in some of the parts. I just turn them off for some bits, basically. Yeah, exactly. Like you get to the end of the tunnel, the light blooms. It does. You can see it as you're coming up to it. The next thing, it opens up, and you're in this wider world. But it, like I say, it's actually just like a production trick. It's nothing clever. It's literally with the addition of that space there, that gap where I've chopped out this guitar. And then obviously as well, I bring the piano back and I bring the strings in as well for the kind of lilt aspect of it. Because that's important in this song as well. There was it's a lilt like your grandma would love. That's how I can describe it. Like, I do like this one. It is lovely, isn't it? You know, it's one of those things. And this old-time essence, which again, I was doing this when I was putting the track together with no idea that you were going to do a black and white mime film.
Right.
So it was peculiar to me. I put this old-time thing in it. I nearly went with a honky-tonk piano, but it was too much.
Yeah. Did you delete the track with the hoedown?
Yeah, I got rid of it.
Okay. You shouldn't have. I shouldn't have been so mean about it.
I should have kept it.
Just so we could hear it now, because it was a hoedown, y'all.
It was a hoedown. It was bad.
Okay. So this, thanks, Gary. You said 40 watching and 50 likes.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Wow, this is awesome.
So, do you want to go ahead with this, with how you went into the bridge, or is there,
I'm just going to play another video. Yeah. Good call. So let's come back to us for a second. And right. So we have, kind of collaborated a few times now, haven't we?
We have.
You know?
We have. The first one was Sweet Sweet Time.
Yeah. Second was
one.
Was there one before?
Did we do one before Mercy Street? What do we do?
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Maybe that's it. We've done Mercy Street and this, I think, officially, haven't we? And Sweet Sweet Time, I think. So, yeah, you are probably as much of a Peter Gabriel fan as myself as well.
You know it.
Especially when you listed, honestly, you stole a bit of my heart when you were on Jade Starr's show and you said that one of your favourite album is Gabriel's The Passion.
It is. It is. It's beautiful. If you're not listening to that, I mean, it's just gorgeous. It just makes your day. If you're doing something, you need,
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Yeah. And so you decided to do a cover of Mercy Street. I think it came about from your stream.
Lauren Danforth. had requested it as a cover. And so I was working on it. And I think I played it as a cover on my Friday Song Club after Lauren requested it. And then you said, let's do it. And then we did it.
And then we did it. Then we did it.
Then, so we recorded the parts. You pretty much did put everything together. And then you recorded yourself on video, and I added it to my video.
Yeah. And David Coyle, camera work?
David Coyle helped me do a lot of the camera work.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so this, for everybody who's watching, this is Valerie Bhat and Mr. Smith with Peter Gabriel's Mercy Street.
Looking down on empty streets, all she can see are the dreams all made solid, are the dreams made real. All of the buildings and all of the cars were once just a dream in somebody's head. She pictures the broken glass, pictures the steam. She pictures a soul with no leak at the seams. Take the boat out, wait until darkness. Let's take the boat out, wait until darkness comes. Nowhere in the corridors of pale green and grey, nowhere in the suburbs in the cold light of day. There in the midst of it, so alive and alone, would support like bone, dreaming of mercy street. Where you're inside out, dreaming of mercy. In your daddy's arms again, dreaming of mercy street. Swear they moved that sign, dreaming of mercy. In your daddy's arms, pulling out the papers from the drawers that slide smooth, tugging at the darkness, word upon word, confessing all the secret things in the warm velvet box to the priest. He's the doctor, he can handle the shocks. Dreaming of the tenderness, the tremble in the hips, kissing Mary's lips, dreaming of mercy street. Where you're inside out, dreaming of mercy. In your daddy's arms again, dreaming of mercy street. Swear they moved that sign, dreaming of mercy. In your daddy's arms. And with her father is out in the boat, riding the water, riding the waves. on the sea.
Mercy Street. For anybody who doesn't know, written by Peter Gabriel. And
Still something wrong.
is there something wrong? Yeah.
I'm repeating.
Are you? Let's try that.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the sweet comments. You made that sound awesome. I'm giving you most of the credit for that.
It was all down to this.
It was that.
The best percussion instrument in the world.
Like a seashell necklace.
Yeah. Just that. Just that noise. I know it's harsh in these mics, but...
Yeah.
And then it's a shaker, or it's a squisher, or a slapper, or there's a lot of things. Or it can do.
I can do so much.
There's so much.
Herbs is recording right now.
Yeah, you're going to be sampling out your herbs. Yeah. So honestly, if you want the most sort of useful percussion tool, get yourself a string of seashells. Yeah.
Yeah. So to the ocean, everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm obviously underestimating the triangle, says the deal for real. Justine picked up on the slapper.
The slapper. Yeah. And thank you everybody for coming in. I saw Nippleback and also Sunshine Archer, who's going to be right after this with pole vault.
Yay! Come on.
Okay. I think we're kind of caught up.
But
yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, speaking of which, pole vault and Sunshine, I'm just going to put that in the chat. Coming up in half an hour, 35 minutes.
Perfect. Falcro has some maracas.
Falcro has maracas?
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say this on a live stream, but Falcro, I'd like to see your maracas. 4, 3, 2, 1, brother. I can't believe I've said that. I'm going to cut that out later.
Check your email. Yeah.
Yeah, pictures. I need pictures or there's no proof. Yeah.
Oh, I thought video, but okay.
Video. Oh, yeah. All right.
God, you're old men.
Send us a picture.
Can you make me a drawing?
You know me with technology.
No. Well, somehow with technology, we did that whole thing. It's Mercy Street videos and song, and I'm really, I really do like how that turned out. It'll get a copyright claim. It turned out so well.
Of course, Joanna Lynn, good to see you. And Nippleback, nice one, and Shelley, yay. Nice. Michael Songs as well, didn't she? Come in automatic.
Oh, Michael.
Nice one.
David wants to put you into timeout.
Dave.
The boss.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, Dave. It probably is. I do need some kind of carer, I think. All right, so let's get back to this track briefly as well. So the bridge we were at. Let's just switch back to this, and yeah, you've got that. So the bridge I handled in the same way as I handled the second verse. But I ran the strummed guitar into it, but I basically dropped everything out. So I chopped all the percussion out.
Yeah.
I dropped all your bass line out. I kept a little bit of pick guitar. And I took all of the strings out and all the piano, and I just put the music box back in with a touch of strings here. So the bridge drops out to almost nothing. Now that little bit, you put this gap in, hadn't you? And you
yeah.
The way you timed the gap was just interesting, because it had this. It was to a click, but it had a rallentando to it, and that was interesting to get right.
What did you say it had? It had a what?
Rallentando, so it has a slow down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it slowed down, but even though the click track was still running at whatever tempo it was,
right,
and at 77 beats a minute in 6/8, so it was difficult for me to get something that gave the sense of that slowdown, but properly, so musically,
right. Right, because beat wise, I'm not actually slowing down.
Yeah, it was, but it had to be there, and the only way I could figure to do it was to put the music box sounding like it's winding down and stopping. Do 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 do. That. So the music box is gone then, and then from that point on, it doesn't come back, and you end the track.
Oh, okay.
Like this kind of that chapter is over,
right?
Kind of thing, you know?
Right. Yeah. Also, it's over the words. It's coming over the words of a baby newborn.
Exactly.
And exactly. And so I really like that, where that comes into that.
Yeah, it had that innocent little, almost a baby's mobile playing a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of that was an arrangement decision based on those factors. So it had to be something like that. Otherwise, it just sounded like a break that we'd put in for no reason.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Mine, I just kind of do some space sometimes, but if it's just like a voice and a guitar, it's different than you have all these things to it.
Yeah.
Also just saying hello to Jade Starr, John Wiggs. Joanne is here in the chat.
Jade Starr, that walk was great before. Nice one. And John Wiggs, good to see you. And Joanne. Yay.
Okay. All right, so
have we got everybody?
Play us what you got. I think so.
Okay, so before we play the track with the vocals all the way through, I'm just going to play the track without them, so that people can hear the arrangement as it goes through and see it on the screen. And I'll give a little sort of commentary as we go in. Okay, so this is the track from beginning to end with just the musical arrangement that I put on this. The vocals will come at the end when we play the actual video, I think. That'd be best. So this is how I went about it. It's so stripped back, isn't it? First time we hear the picked guitar. Nothing happening almost. Piano gets lyrical. big snare.
I don't hear it like that when it's this whole thing.
And then that part, the piano went back to being simple. There was a melody put into the string section. Ba-da-da-ba-bum. Now it's out. Just your guitar. Into the last chorus. That melody instead of the slide on the violins to follow. Dun 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 dun. And again. Dun dun dun. And there's a lot more on the piano in that section as well.
I love that ending.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, that's such a buzz.
Right.
To be able to end the song on the lowest note of the piano, I love it. It's almost a mission of mine, you know. Joanne, good to see you, sweet. Nice one. Yeah, it's a mission to end on that bottom note for me. Just the way the piano hangs at the end, I really like. Yeah, there's something about the way it just hangs out with a reverb. So yeah, you can all see that it's nothing exactly complicated. Not really. And there's only one point in it here, which is the second chorus, that the piano actually plays any more melody than it literally just moves out of its box for a second. And it sounds musical to me.
Yeah.
You know, the theme, that.
Oh yeah. The whole track could really stand on its own without my vocals. Like, just as a track. If I'm in the doctor's office or in an elevator and I heard this, I would be like, that's a full song.
Well, I really do think it would be worth looking at putting out a version with just the piano and vocal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it really does lend itself to it, I think. I'd like to do some more minor additions to the piano part if I'm going to do that. Make a few changes to the strings and stuff if I put some of them in. But yeah, I'd like to hear it with just done with the piano, to be honest, if you would be up for that.
Yeah.
No?
Of course. Yeah, I think it sounds awesome.
Nice one. Oh,
Sleep
Michelle
well,
Freeman.
Lynn.
Robert Redmond. Robert, I saw your comment. You were the very first person in the chat tonight, bruv. Good to see you. And I'm looking forward to what you're sending to Valerie as well. Thank you very much for doing it. Much appreciated. And Michelle, good to have you here. Always is. Thank you for coming over. It's a movie tune. Yeah, I get what you mean with that, Ryan. It is. And it had that from the beginning to me. It was filmic. It made me think of a film.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Let me turn that off. Yeah, it made me think of a film, which, like I say, just blew my mind when it got to the part where you produced that video for it.
Which we will watch here in just a minute.
We will, yes.
So we'll see the full production.
We will.
If you haven't already.
Yeah.
Still watching.
So, let me see. Right, so let's, we're going to do one more video, just so that people aren't listening to us just talking incessantly.
Well, Chris said he enjoyed listening to you talk about production. And
He does, actually. Yeah, he did. He did.
I think a lot of people like your expertise on this matter.
Well, I hope it's given some people some insight into how how it's not really anything complex. It's about basically, like you said at the start, space.
But yeah, I mean, it's space, but there's also more to it than just that. You did think of, you know, I'm thinking of it in a very linear way of like how I perform it, and it's kind of I start and then I stop, and you know, you're thinking of it more as an arrangement of, you know, you bringing in one thing at a time, and so that's something I don't know that I know how to hear for yet.
Yeah, I get you.
And you seem to hear that pretty quick on, so that's yeah, like John says, there's lots of layers. It's and it's not complicated in the sense of like you didn't put a ton of effects on it. You didn't.
No.
There's nothing happening that.
Nope. So the one thing I did do as regards effects as well. So last thing to talk about with people. Okay. Now, some people say that you don't really need a mastering chain on the back or a particularly big chain on your master bus. With this, I went from the ground up, because something that people might have noticed is the individual track volumes on these are quite low. So the average DC content in most of these is probably around minus 21 dB, roughly, in all of the WAVs. Now, instead of bringing the volume of those up to start with bigger sounds, if you like, I decided to push it all through the master bus chain and to do it on the master bus end, so the whole thing came up together instead of going for individual, because things can get out of context when you start making WAVs bigger in terms of dB. Things can get out of context because there's an effect that goes on. So louder is better, it's the old joke, but it actually, to the human ear, it kind of is. So if you turn something up, obviously you can hear it better. Well, it's not better, it's clearer. So that doesn't mean that you've changed the sound. Now, it's a very easy mistake to make in audio mixing, to think, if I turn that up and because I can hear it, it's better. That's not the case. You know, it's this fooling of the ears. So rather than bring all these WAVs up to a kind of 0 dB thing, I left them all where they were, and I brought the entire thing up via the mastering chain. And I play the track, but just without the vocals again. Let me just mute those. And just show you the back end chain. So we'll turn that off. Right. So that is just a mix with no additions. And then you can't really hear it, but I've widened the stereo image ever so slightly. Hold on, let me turn over to that. So that's an image widener, just a touch. And then there is an SSL channel strip, which is doing a bit of top end EQ and a bit of bottom end push at about 60 Hertz to just give some oomph. And there's a tiny notch of 4.5K just pulled out of it with a touch of compression from this channel. So that then does that. So that's the difference with or without that channel strip. And then finally, the compression comes into play, the last compressor, which gives the final boost and then actually keeps everything in check. So it's a ratio of 2.4, it's grabbing at -11, it's pushing out 2 dB extra, and it's limiting itself to -1 dB with a really fast attack. And then I've just got some meters to be able to see what I'm looking at. But that back end chain on the master bus is what actually makes the track in some ways. So it comes out of the final mix, not mastered, but certainly in that kind of range. Yeah, like 20 dB herbs. Yeah, roughly. So it adds a lot of punch to it. And you can see I've used 2 compressors. There's the slight compression from the SSL channel strip, and then there's the sort of more standard compressor here from the Timeworks. Just doing ever so slightly different things. The SSL channel is grabbing more of the top end, just a touch, and then the Timeworks is doing a more full mix slam, catching it and squashing it a bit flatter, basically. So this is also one of the few times where I've mixed into the master bus chain. I don't usually do that, you know. But on this occasion, it seemed to be the right thing to do. Because the whole thing had this like what's the word? I wouldn't say timid. Timid's not the right word, but it's in that ballpark. It's this kind of, it's a bit meek, and it's a bit small, and it's a bit, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So it was more a case of just enhancing that picture as a whole, rather than trying to turn that up and turn that up and turn that up, you know.
Right. That's kind of like, so who is it? Oh, David say, each part isn't necessarily all that complex, but they're all complementary. And that's the clever part.
That's the idea. That's really what we're going for, you know.
Also, thanks so much to Robin M for buying a coffee. Appreciate you.
Bless you, Robin. Thank you. That's so cool.
Yeah, Herbs was saying that their ears cleared up after they blew their nose, and everything was 20 dB louder.
Not the mastering chain.
Yeah.
Not the master bus chain.
No, they're sick.
Oh, are you dribbling, Herbs? Are you dribbling again?
Yeah, Herbs has had to crank the volume to hear over their congestion. So we did prayers for Herbs earlier from Song Club. So continue that. Nippleback mentioned, so you didn't even need a multi-band compressor.
No.
Is that something you would normally use?
No. It depending on what's going on. To be honest, Nippleback, the multi-band is more for when there's a full kit and distorted guitars going on, because quite often you get clatters in the sort of top mid range and top end because of that. But with this mix being so rounded and warm and no real dynamic peaks involved, there was absolutely no need for a multi-band and grabbing at particular stuff. It was more about just putting the thing in the right frame, basically.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then I did master it on the back of that as well, but I did that separately in some different software.
What software do you use for mastering?
Adobe Premiere.
Okay.
And there's a couple of things that I've done on that, but essentially, no, it's not done with a multi-band in the mastering either. It was just done with effectively EQ and parallel compression on that. And I discussed with you, I think I could have got some more volume out of it. I could have pushed another 3 or 4 loves.
After we did, I think it's good, but I hear what you're saying. Might as well.
Yeah, I think next time I would push for that, to be honest.
So, Hugh asks, when does the blistering guitar solo come in?
When does the blistering guitar solo come in? That typical bloody guitarist. When's my bit?
Okay.
I love it.
David Burke and Herbs are bonding over their shared sickness.
Oh, nice. They can slime together.
They are.
Okay, so do you think we should play everybody the finished piece now?
I think we should.
Okay, and then we can say our goodbyes, can't we?
And y'all agree. I'm a mime, y'all.
You finally made
Serious,
it. You
real
did it.
mime.
Yes. Okay, so thank you everybody who's waited all the way through this to actually see the final thing as well. So this is Valerie Bhat and Silence, mixed by Mr. Smith.
I I don't know how to see how I feel. I could draw you a picture, a fish stuck in the mud, held by the current, at a fork in the river. I struggle and wriggle and fight to survive. If wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. I don't breathe a word till the slip of the tongue releases the floodgates. I try to hold back, keep it under my hat. I never learned from my mistakes. It starts as a whisper and turns to a roar, like the calm of the ocean when it rips up the shore. But I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, the silence, it howls like the winds in a storm, like the wolves at the full moon, like a baby newborn. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Come out from behind all the clouds on the shoulders of giants. I'm too scared to scream, too frightened to cry out, too filled with heartbreak, depression and self-doubt. I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, I should try living out loud before I die in the silence. Oh, I should try living out loud.
Okay. I got it right. No feedback, no echo.
Perfect.
Wow.
Pro streamers.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for all the
Yes.
sweet comments. You guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the figuring out how to produce a track for Valerie Bhat, basically.
Yeah, that's all you do. And you know, like, he makes it seem like that was easy. I could not have done this. Even now, if you'd be like, okay, now redo the song like that, I couldn't. I wouldn't have heard all, you know, there's so many little parts that you've added. And every time I hear like a little additional few notes that I didn't notice before. So I think you make it seem super easy, but I really do appreciate how hard you worked on making that happen. Because that was, again, a lot. You know, you used a lot all my parts, but you added so much to it. And then just the getting it all to lay in right together. It's, yeah, I could not have asked for more.
Thank you. Bless you.
So, no, thank you.
Bless you.
That was
And
great.
the video, the video nailed it for me. That was the thing. The video really just cemented that identity on it. And it was so many
Yeah.
comments about the video on the chat, and rightly so, you know.
Yeah, I'm not like, I'm no expert in filming or editing or anything. I'm just, I'm trying my best. But this one I did like make a video where I like I put all the parts together. Like I had the, putting the makeup on, and I made a video. So I really had it written out a lot more than I normally do. Like than I did for, say, the Mercy Street, which is like, the Mercy Street had footage from my trip to Seattle, my trip to India.
Yeah.
It had parts about London in there.
Yeah.
There was, there was so much into one video.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah. This was a lot
and
more
then
focused,
and then just
wasn't it?
down the street. Yeah. This was like all shot in one scene.
And it comes across. I think all that work really does come across. And like I say, just cements this identity of the track that's just fabulous, to be honest. It's fabulous. Love it. It's been a real pleasure to do it as well. And it's strange that it's taken us so long to do this video, the breakdown, but I'm really glad we've done it at last. And thank you to everybody who's been in the chat and commented and stayed to watch.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, everybody. We are going to be back with more sound sessions.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like them. You didn't tell me. So
Did I not?
I'm always down.
Okay.
Not next week, because next week is Valentine's Day, and I'm going to do an extra Valentine's Day love song concert during this time.
Yes.
So, so that will be over on my channel, and so maybe the week after.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna, as David says, I'm gonna send that movie to the mime troupe and with a "see what you missed out on" message.
Yes. 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 And Costa, really good to see you as well. I noticed you come in before. Yeah, old school desk, analog all the way, mate. Let's put it in right from the beginning. That's the idea. No, this is, so the last thing to say on this, because this has been the sound sessions and it's been about a breakdown about how I've done this track. I would just like to say something to everybody. And some of this is a little bit on the back of what Jade Starr said on one of her rants recently about gear. So please don't think that you need the latest thing. Please don't think that it needs to be the most awesome or have the most flashy lights on it. Because let me tell you straight, music is about EQ, compression, reverb, and then placement in stereo. It gets complicated with phase, but for the moment, forget about that. You just need an EQ, a reverb, a compressor, maybe a distortion. And that's it. It doesn't need to get any more complicated. You've all seen that there's been no masses of EQ thrown at this, not anything like that. It's not needed it. So don't be put off if you want to record something. Keep it simple and it will work. Yeah. Don't be taken in by the hype. Keep it simple and you'll be able to achieve it. And as well, I know in this community, there's a lot of people that will help people who want to start recording or just get better at what they're doing. Try and keep this in mind, that if you just ask people, they will help. And often it's not as complicated as you think. There's a simple answer. There's a simple way around it every time, you know. And this is a prime example as well of keep your vision. So Valerie had a vision with the demo, and I, instead of saying, oh yeah, great, I could do something with that and changing it, if you're going to work with somebody, try and bring out their identity with it rather than force your own, you know. Because I think that is something that sometimes is difficult when people have ideas, different ideas, you can get lost in how good your idea is. But if you're working with other people, do your best to just keep it simple and bring out what they want. Case in point with this, and a real pleasure to do, to be honest. So next up on Friday the list, is it Pole Vault?
We've got Pole Vault and Sunshine Archer for the weekend warm-up.
There's the link. It's just gone into the chat. Look at that. Look at that.
So good.
Hashtag
yeah, and
pro
that's just
streamer.
starting it off, because then we got Lori's Mishmash. Lori's back this week. We've got Gary Hubbs in a parking lot, and then we have the Leelaverse. So,
Yeah.
and that's just today. Tomorrow, all day, it's at least 12 hours of Kurt Fest, and it's starting off, baby, with Live to Fly channel.
Yes, I know. Live to Fly.
So
David,
I'm super excited.
we're so proud, David.
So get there on time, everybody. Get there on time.
Yeah, get there in time.
It's going to be a long day, so there's a lot of coming and going as you need to. But stop by anytime you can.
Yeah, David Burke. Yes, a really good comment. So Dave says, would it be also fair to say, Mr. Smith, to put a little work into your instrument sounds at the beginning before recording? It helps with EQing afterwards. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about, Dave. You get it right on the way in, and then you have to do very little on the way out. Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if I knew what I was doing on the way in.
It turns out it was all right.
It was all right. I mean, mine are very simple. Like, I'm just, I think I recorded it with a mic and pickup for each guitar.
You did.
And so I don't know which one we used in the end, but I think I might have just sent you pickup in the end. And yeah, which is kind of, but again, I don't know what I'm doing. All
yeah,
right,
and neither does E. Urban by the sounds of it, because E. Urban says word protection, go slow and use lube. So if you're recording your acoustic guitar, everybody, remember, protective clothing, go slow and use lube. Yeah. This is
why Herbs makes beats. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I do think I have some kind of an ear for the music David mentioned, but it is like being an engineer. I think you have a different level of sensitivity to the sound.
Yeah, once you're trained to something, yeah, definitely. But you do seem very adept at getting it right on the way in. That's one thing I will say, because it's not often that I can get a load of stems off somebody and just work with them like that. So, nice one. It's been a pleasure. And thank you to everybody for staying with us for the show. It's now 30 seconds to pole vault and sunshine.
Perfect. We'll see you over there.
Yeah, if anybody's watching the replay or anything, leave us a comment, and we will see you all on sound sessions in the next couple of weeks.
Yay.
Yay. All right, see you later, folks. Love you all.
Bye, everybody.
Deal with it.